So, welcome back to the Nurburgring and welcome back to, this time, not an NLS weekend, but a RCN weekend. So RCN is like the level below VLN. It is a time trial type championship. So you're not directly racing people for position, but it's all about the timings for things. I'm here with my driver this weekend. I'm being chauffeured this weekend by Bjorn. It's his first RCN race, and we've been working together for a couple of months now. He's done no motorsport before at all, so I've been just coaching him up to speed, both on the Nordschleife and in the M2 at Bilsterberg and at Hockenheim before his first event today. So yeah, RCN is quite complicated if you don't know what it is already. So here's a quick insight into what it actually is. So as mentioned, RCN is a time trial type event, not an actual race, and the winner at the end of it scores the least amount of points. Over the 13 laps in the event, there are objectives for each lap that you must achieve. So first lap is your set lap. This is a lap time which you must achieve twice in the event, so on lap 1 and lap 8. So you must repeat this lap twice. So you can't go flat chat on lap 1 with new tyres if you can't repeat it again on lap 8. So it's actually all about cruising around at a nice steady pace so that you can repeat that later on, whether there be yellow flags, code 60 zones, traffic, even if it rains, for example, you must be able to repeat that. If you don't repeat your first lap time within 10 seconds plus or minus, then you score penalty points. Obviously that gets added to your total, and then the more points you have, the lower you come down the ranks. Lap 2, 3, 4 and 5 on this event are push laps. This is just drive as fast as you can. You score a point for every second in which your lap is. So you're constantly scoring points for every single second that you're on track. So it's in your favour to drive as fast as you can to score a minimum amount of points. Lap 6 and 7 are fuel laps. So it's an in lap where you just cruise around, drive in, come into the pit lane, fuel up. You can check the tyre pressures, you can change tyres, you can change driver. This is a 2-driver event as well, which makes it really good for entry-level motorsport as well. And then your out lap, again, you can cruise around the out lap. You don't have to go fast or slow on that. But then obviously on lap 8, you must then repeat your lap 1 again. So there's a maximum of 50 minutes for this, which makes it a very leisurely pit stop, very leisurely fuel stop. You don't need any expensive equipment or loads of team personnel. There's no time restriction on that. After the fuel stop, you then have to repeat the lap as mentioned on lap 1 here, then lap 9, 10, 11, 12. Again, you are push, push, push. And then once you've crossed the finish line, just before turn 13 at the old pits on the Nordschleife, you slow down, and then your in lap must be a maximum of 14 minutes. So again, you're just cruising around. I hope that makes sense. Enjoy the rest of the video. So we're about 20 minutes before the race now. We're about to jump in the car together. I'm going to be co-piloting for this event. I don't know what events you can actually co-pilot in a race event before. So yeah, it's all part of the training process. The aim and objective today is to finish the race, get more experience around the Nordschleife, and more experience in this car as well. The weather's been a little bit tricky. It's very warm, it's very muggy. We don't know whether it's going to rain or dry at the moment. We've got some slicks on at the moment. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. So yeah, let's jump on board with the V-Box, and hopefully you can hear me coaching us around the event for our time laps, our sprint tracker laps, our in laps to then fuel, and then for the rest of the time laps and sprint laps also. So yeah, let's jump in and go get this man his first race. What I love about RCN is it's just a fully entry-level spec championship. There's not loads of big teams, big trucks, mechanics, tyres all over the place, etc. It's just guys going racing. The fastest cars you can get are Carrera Cup cars, there's GT4 cars, but the majority are just self-built, converted road cars with slicks on that go racing. And both cars can be used in the NLS Championship and the RCN Championship as well. We have a very reduced team of just 2 mechanics to run one of the more complex cars in the event, the brand new M2 Racing CS, and yeah, just me and Bjorn, so let's go. So lap 1 is all about your set lap, you don't have to push hard, you just have to bring the tyres in, bring the car in, find some space in the traffic as well, because ultimately you don't want to be interrupted on your push laps when you then start to drive as quick as you can. A little bit of rain coming down as well made it pretty interesting for Bjorn's first race, so I think he had a little bit of everything. So yeah, jump on board the new M2 CS Racing around the second half of the Nordschleife. You'll also see that I'm waving my hands around a lot. This is because our intercom failed about 5 minutes before the start of the race and we had nothing else to do, so I was having to just purely drive on hand signals as it's so noisy in a race car. So yeah, enjoy the final lap of his push lap when we had a little bit of dry track. So with the first 5 laps completed, we pitted for fuel for both driver and car and reflect on our first stint of Bjorn's racing career.
What? That was exciting enough, wasn't it?
Alright.
What do you think to that?
Thanks, mate. That was good.
Does that mean you're a racing driver now?
Yeah, sort of.
Officially?
Alright. That was good.
Oh, stop, stop, stop.
Irgendwie 25 Jahre, die kamen mit einem Opel Omega Kombi Diesel. Die haben alles in Grund und Boden gefahren. Die hatten zum Schluss noch eine halbe Vorsprung von den Zweiten. Kommen zum Tanken rein, stellen fest.
So we've just finished our first stint. We've come in for our pit stop. And as you can see, it's a very leisurely pit stop. I've been to the toilet, we're about to fuel up, we check the pressures, we're sorting out the intercom at the moment, which we're having issues with, so we're only on hand signals, which is annoying. And then back out again. It's a mega way to go racing.
Yes.
And then good to go.
Aircon is on, right?
Sorry?
Aircon is on.
So now we are back onto lap 8, so this is our second set lap. This is where it gets a bit complicated, because where others have quicker pit stops or sooner pit stops, they're on their push laps and you are on your set laps, so you really have to be aware. At this point here, I'm timing Bjorn to make sure that he's on target to match his time. You will see me looking down at my stopwatch and then tell him to go faster or slower to suit the reference lap that I have noted down from our first lap of the day.
Yeah, 1 second ahead, so perfect. Perfect. bit faster. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
We managed to match our time within 2 seconds, so we didn't score a penalty, which was perfect. So earlier on in the video when I said Bjorn had a little bit of everything, literally we are coming to the final couple of corners of our final lap and it starts to rain pretty heavily, so he really did have a proper baptism of fire. However, he managed to bring it home nice and steady and finish our final sprint.
Right, now just bring it home. Now just bring it home.
I did say just bring it home, but we did still have to achieve the objective of finishing our final lap in 14 minutes. And when you're on slicks in the wet and this is your first race, I mean, this was a pretty tall ask. We just wanted to bring the car home, not have any extra dramas at all. So in the end, we actually completed our final lap in over 15 minutes, which meant that we scored another penalty at the end of the race, but we came home safe, and that's the main thing. You can see here in this onboard that we're going so slow and slicks in the wet that a van actually overtakes us on the road next to the Dottinger Höhe. So that gives you an indication of just how slippy it was. Either way, it was a mega job by Bjorn. It was great to get his first race result as a racing driver and share that experience with him, literally going from his first time in a race car to completing his first race at the Nurburgring Nordschleife. It doesn't get much more tricky, especially when you throw in that he had to do quite a few laps with slicks in the wet. So yeah, I hope this is a good start to Bjorn's racing career, and I hope that he can stay with Walkenhorst in the RCN and the NLS, and maybe into some of the more major events going on to the future. I hope you like this content, and I hope you enjoy this video of something a little bit different, Nurburgring content, but the RCN. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe for plenty more motorsport Nurburgring content to come like this. Until next time, ciao, ciao.